work.
All settled in? Good. I'm happy that you're visiting Linda, but I know how much you teenagers like your televisions and loud stereos, so I must insist that you act respectfully and civilly while you stay with us. Since my nephew Hugh is away on business, I am in charge of this household, and if there's one thing I cannot stand, it's noise. Hugh's daughter Jane is staying with us and would very much like to meet you, but please try not to distract her. She has her studies and mustn't be disturbed during her lessons.
Is anyone else staying here?
We do not have any permanent house staff, if that's what you mean. The Penvillans have always been self-reliant. We get on quite well without being continuously mollycoddled by a squadron of insipid, gossiping ne'er-do-wells. Now, we do have 2 other house guests. A Mr. Nigel Mukherjee, who is researching the Penvillan family history in the library, and Ethel Bossany, Jane's tutor.
Do you know what's wrong with Linda?
Oh, Linda simply needs some time to adjust to her new living situation. England is not the United States. We do things differently, or should I say properly, here. The doctor believes it's just a case of nerves.
Her mother told me she refuses to let anyone see her. Is that true?
I don't know, and the doctors don't know. No one seems to know anything. All I've been told is that Linda is unwell and that in her stead, I must look after matters. Now, please, I really do not have time to entertain you. You may have the run of the house, but do not break anything, and refrain from mucking about with items that aren't yours. 2 rules Jane seems incapable of following. And before I forget, our kitchen is being remodeled, so our dining situation is rather unorthodox. I've made arrangements with a local restaurant to deliver meals to us. There should be a programmed number for them on the phone in your room. Feel free to order whatever you'd like.
I spoke with Mr. Tucker at the Boar's Head pub, but frankly, I'm not at all sure what he said.
Yes, his language is quite colourful, isn't it? He's Cockney, you see. My brother Alan and I loved to make up Cockney rhymes when we were young. We'd drive our governess quite batty. Haven't got a pot of glue, haven't got a pot of glue. Ha! How we teased her.
Pot of glue?
A clue, dear. Haven't got a clue. Rhymes with glue, you see.
The picture book in Jane's room. Do you know much about its history?
My brother Alan found it somewhere in the house. He was quite fascinated by it, but he'd never let me look at it.
I'm concerned about that thing I saw outside.
It was purely your imagination, unless you saw a stray dog. But I will not countenance any histrionics about this issue. We have enough to worry about with Linda. And please do not get any ideas about going outside to investigate. I do not want you tracking mud all over this house.
What was your brother Alan like?
He was quite remarkable. He taught linguistics and computer science and won many prestigious awards. He loved games, especially pranks, and was forever tinkering with this and that. I do miss him sometimes, but now he's gone. He died a month after my husband passed away, and ever since I've been here all alone. Until Hugh came back from the United States, that is.
Goodbye.
The pleasure is all mine, child. Who's hungry? Who's ready for some nummies?
Did you say something, Mrs. Drake?
Not to you, dear.
It stopped working. I need something to wind it up.
Ah yes, are you here from the agency? It's about time.
Agency?
Oh dear, you're not the typist from the spiffy specialty agency, are you? Well, how do you do? I'm Nigel Mukherjee.
Pleased to meet you. My name's Nancy Drew. Are you visiting Blackmoor Manor?
I'm researching the Penvillan family, and Mrs. Drake has graciously opened the library for me. Nothing much has been written about the Penvillans. Until now.
Why do you think that is?
It might have something to do with their scandalous history. Or perhaps it has something to do with the family treasure.
Scandalous history?
Well, having a family member burned as a witch can hardly be considered a mark of pride, I dare say. And then there's the whole business with the Blackmoor beast.
Who was the family member?
Eleanor Penvellyn, tried and convicted of witchcraft in 1650, quite the height of the witch trials here in Essex. It was rumoured that Cromwell arranged the conviction.
Cromwell?
Oliver Cromwell? Ironsides? I suppose they don't teach history any longer in the U.S. Lady Penvellyn was a rather vocal critic of Cromwell's policies and helped many of his enemies flee the country. Whether she actually was a practitioner of witchcraft is unknown, although many visitors to the manor during her tenure reported hearing strange, ghostly bells. Some even saw phantom hands floating about the manor, tolling their charmed chimes.
Tell me about the Penvellyn family treasure.
For centuries, the Penvellyns have been very secretive. Some believe they're protectors of a fabulous treasure, or of some dark secret.
Can you tell me about the Blackmoor beast?
It's a story that's been told for generations out here. During the 1600s, many of the villagers reported seeing a strange beast with red eyes and giant fangs prowling the moors. They asked the mistress of Blackmoor Manor, Eleanor Penvellyn, to put a bounty on the beast's head. But, oddly enough, she not only refused, she forbade anyone from hunting the creature. It was rumoured that the beast was Eleanor's husband, whom she had cursed for finding out too much about the Penvellyn secret.
When I was walking up to the house, I saw something with red eyes that called out to me.
Really? How extraordinary. Are you sure it wasn't just jet lag?
Positive, and I heard it make this kind of growling sound.
Perhaps it was the cursed husband of Eleanor Penvellyn, prowling about the moors in search of lost Yanks.
Very funny. Who are all those paintings of in the Great Hall?
Those are the Penvellyns who owned Blackmoor Manor at one time or another.
Have you seen any runes anywhere in the manor?
You mean like Norse runes? No, I haven't. I don't really know much about them anyway. Dead languages aren't really my bag, you know.
I'll let you get back to your work.
Valet! Fascinating piece, isn't it? James Penvellyn sculpted it in 1591, although it appears that wand was added at a later date. He was quite a flamboyant figure and never married. But one day, a child appeared quite mysteriously in the castle, and he took her in as his own. That was Eleanor, and many of the townfolk believed her to be a changeling or fairy baby.
Do you mind if I use this computer?
No, not at all. But it's very old. Feel free to use mine if I'm not here. Achoo!
À tes souhaits.
Merci.
Yes?
I'd like to play the card machine in the Great Hall, but it's broken.
It's not broken. I removed its crank, as it was proving to be too much of a distraction for Jane. I suppose I could see where it's gone to. But in the meantime, be a dear and do something for me, would you?
Sure.
Do you see that hodgepodge of plants over there? They're my prize seedlings. I had them perfectly arranged in that box, so I could easily move them about to catch the light. Unfortunately, Jane took all of them out when I wasn't looking, and now for the life of me I cannot get them back in the box so that they all fit. Why don't you give it a try while I see about that crank? If we both succeed, we shall both be happy, if you catch my meaning. Remember, they must all fit in that box!
There.